Hey everybody, Carlos Perez, and today we're going to do a complete update of the build. So this video is going to be just on updating the build. So you know, of course, the way to check the build and see what it's on, if you go inside of the Updater app, you'll see up in the top left corner right there, that's on Pyro 2.5. So if you were inside of the Media Center, then you would have seen in the top right corner, while the scrolling RSS feed was going by, that you would have still been on 2.4. So we're going to show you how to do the complete 2.5 update. So the add-on, the app that we developed, does have the ability to wipe it from inside, if you see right here, by clicking on the menu button on your remote. You can go to the wipe PMC. I never really like to do it that way. You can, but I prefer to actually clear the data from inside the add-on itself. So we go into settings and then over to apps, and then we're going to go over to the PMC. That's the Pyro Media Center, and you see right now it's on 795 megabytes. So we're going to click on that, and we're going to go down to clear data. That's going to erase 626 megabytes of data, which is the actual old build that was on there. Yours will probably show higher if you were watching a lot of television and on-demand content. So we're going to click on clear. Okay. And once that completely wipes away, we're going to, of course, you guys know, I like to always power the box down, unplug it, and then wait about 60 seconds, maybe 2 minutes, then power it back up again. So you see the data is cleared right now, and if we hit the return button on the remote, it's at 169 megabytes. So remember that 169 megabytes is just what the app itself is at. So that's why when I tell you guys to do the update and then come back here and check, you always want to make sure that that number is higher. That would ensure that the build was installed properly and is on there. So we're going to go back to the home screen, and we're just going to turn the cursor on our remote, and then we're going to go down to under the QS and that plus sign. That's the power right there. So we're going to just go ahead and kill the power from there, and then we're going to hit the power off up here, and that's going to power the whole thing down. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this until it completely powers down. I unplug it and then reset it. So I'll continue when I do that. Okay, I just powered the unit back up and plugged it in. So now we're going to go down to the installer. We're going to click on that, and we're going to put our Pyro 2.5 build on. So we're going to click on the 2.5. Yes, we want to install it. And we're going to let it go through the downloading, download it, and extracting process. So rather than have you wait, I'm just going to pause it so that you don't have to sit down with me for the next 3 minutes of silence. But I'll turn it back on when we get close enough to the downloaded stage so you can see what the text is that you would see. Okay, it's almost done downloading, so I decided to turn it back on now, just so you can see when it gets to the end of the process what it does. So you see download it, just pulled up, and now extracting. So those are the things you always want to look for when you're installing the update. You want to make sure that it went from the complete download process into the downloaded process into the extracting process. Then from there, you'll get the pop-up letting you know that it's installed. And that's when we just click, and then from there we go and we just confirm that the PMC, the Pyro Media Center, is above the 169 megabytes that it was prior to us adding the build onto it again. So we'll just patiently wait for the extracting process to happen. And then when it does, we'll click on the OK, confirming that everything is done, and we'll go into our settings to check. So that should take us about another, say, minute and a half, because the extraction is, I think it's putting on like an additional 680 megs. 686 maybe, I believe. So even though it's a somewhat heavy build, it's not really super heavy where it bogs down your processor on your box or your Fire Stick or anything. So it's heavy because of the graphics and a lot of the different things that we put in there for the functionality, but it's not so much so that it's going to really demand a lot of resources. And that was important because a lot of people may not have a 2, 3, or 4 gigabyte box with RAM. So that's it. We're going to click OK, and then we're going to hit return. Go into our settings, go over to apps, go over to the PMC. What you see now is at 757 megabytes. So it is above the 169 that the actual program is, and that gives us confirmation that our build was installed successfully. So we're going to launch the build, and then from there we're going to get into everything else, but we're going to do it in separate videos so that you guys are able to follow along. Thank you, and that's how you do your build.